Good afternoon. I think today I want to tackle two major issues. The issue of identity politics and the issue of what did the USSR did right and what did the USSR did wrong. And also I think I am going to talk about color revolution, the CIA, all of that. How those things are all intertwined. So let's start right from the bat that CIA didn't really was not in existence till after World War II. And it was specifically designed as a way for the US to combat the USSR. So before that time, and it was specifically designed to fight it outside of the main political stream. So basically it was specifically designed to do things undercover. Basically, the government can say whatever they want, but behind closed door, they will have different policy. And that's the entire purpose of this CIA. It's like they're the secret agents that will be able to enact their actual plan without the people really be made aware of. The fight for basically feminism, the Black Liberation, the ability for lesbians, homosexual to be able to live their lives without persecution. That wasn't something that the left has always fought. Like if you actually look at the oldest warriors, like Emma Goldman, who I'm forgetting the other. Some other socialist, famous socialist feminists. There's some like Marxists, some are anarchists. These women did fought for humans' rights. Like the entire movement for women the right to vote. That was literally done by feminists, by socialists. But there's also another different type of feminism that exists. It's called the bourgeois feminist. this kind of feminist is going to become very, very dominant in a culture, and it is what the CIA is going to really focus on, rather the radical feminist. And I'm going to explain that more in detail. And one of the things that everyone brings up is the Frankfurt School. The Frankfurt School did grow up in Germany. And these people had different goals. Like at this point in time, you had Marxist chain of thought being taught in universities all over Europe. And it has been used to try to understand different aspects of society. Like if you're in psychology, like any social sciences, from political science, anthropology, sociology, psychology, you had Marxists who literally helped develop some very important theories in all of those fields. And that was long before the entire Frankfurt School. And the Frankfurt School was in Germany. Hitler, who hated the communist, the socialist, the social democrat, anything that is about the worker, that helps bring up the economy, using the economy to kind of like help the people, the needy, the poor, the disabled, the struggle or the common man of like not able to pay their food, bills, all of that. That kind of thought of what Hitler viewed as chaos, that goes against the conservatives' values of like the family, the capitalism, the ability for business to do the buy and selling goes without impediment. he started to purge any left-wing thought. And basically, you could say he was the first one who really brought the concept of identity politics. Because before that time, you didn't really have the concept of if you are against these nationalist values, you are against the state. You are unworthy citizen. But it also, he brought that concept as like a nationalism. Like you had to be what is considered to be a German citizen, and the concept of like Prussian socialism. Like what is the this is a reactionary movement of Marxism. Basically, you try to emphasize the value of a nation. The nation is above the individual. And that everyone is together, whether the rich, the poor, you have to forsake your personal identity, your personal plight, your personal struggle to fight for the struggle of the nation. Nationalism became one of the most strongest conservative value of that era, and it continues to this day. I am not saying that nationalism is inherently evil, and I strongly believe that everything is on a like basically 90% of all things that regarding human beings is on a spectrum. There's not, like one of my favorite lines that one of my professors once said to me is always stuck in my head. There's no capital T truth. There are some truths that are more correct than others. Another line that I really like is nothing. It's from a video game that plays. It's called Assassin's Creed. Is the creed of the assassin. I really love it. It's basically nothing is true, everything is permitted. Which is basically saying that in an entire videos game series, basically what you're taught by the government, by the society as a whole, 9 times out of 10 is just lies that has been told to you. And whenever you actually do something, you literally have to go against the will of you're going against the laws, the rules of the people, what the rulers wants you to do. So you become a rebel. You become someone who is literally considered be a rebel. And then you have the Templars, who is the opposite, who they believe that they have the right to dictate the truth. They have the right to control the government. They have the right to write the laws, the thing that is necessary for the people to live by. In a sense, what I'm saying here is what Hitler, what he was trying to do. He was like the Templar, who basically created what is the identity to be a German. And if you go outside of that identity, you're essentially a provocateur, an agent of chaos that needs to be crushed. So it's really about identity. The Frankfurt, and of course Hitler started to spread the whole cultural Bolsheviksism as a way to say that the Marxist is going to try to corrupt the society in order to destroy it through the culture and all that. It's basically attacking the Frankfurt School, where their entire thing about the Frankfurt School is that they want to analyze how the society operates. They're basically saying like there's more forces that exist that beside class struggle, and they wanted to analyze those things. Now, of course, one of the biggest things that they have done is to literally abandon any of the actual Marxist or socialist values, such as we want to end capitalism. We want to create a society that we can cooperate with each other. Like the ultimate goal for any socialist, which is why you're not going to hear a single communist country that's ever going to say we have achieved communism, because the definition of communism is a stateless, classless, and a moneyless society. Now, on how to achieve it, that is a whole different story. And I will argue that heaven, in a Christian chain of thought, is communism. When Jesus is going to come back on earth, he's going to institute communism, because I can guarantee he's going to abolish all the states across the globe. Yes, he's going to establish his rule, but it's going to be basically he's going to basically remove the worldly state in that sense. There's no longer going to be a hierarchy of things where we're going to be co-equal, co-heirs, co-eternal, we're basically like the entire concept of that one person has all the power, that's going to be all gone. And of course, he abolished money. He no longer have any concept of money, of wealth, of property. Everything's going to be, everything's during this 1,000 year reign. I strongly believe it's going to be more on a mutual cooperation with each other than rather the centralized system where you need money and anyways. I can talk about that another day. Point is, I see communism and what heaven is going to be is literally the same thing. Socialism is basically the process to get there. Now going back to identity politics. So, the Frankfurt School left Germany and came to the US. And of course Germany falls. But this is where things get interesting. The Frankfurt School essentially gets sponsored by the government, by the CIA, by the business elites. Why would they want to do that? Why would the elites want to sponsor that kind of movement? And we also we do have records of big capitalists funding the feminist movements, because they want to strip, for one thing, if you are going to look at their work, they're going to criticize the USSR. They're always going to condemn any socialist movement. But they're going to focus on identity politics. They realize, the business owners, that what has happened in Nazi Germany, Mussolini, Italy, which, by the way, we have records that people like Henry Ford, oh, I forgot their names right now. Basically the biggest capitalists in the world at that time, they were literally were working with the Nazis. Like even companies like Nestle, I think, is it one of major pop company, was literally the GM. There we go, GM. An example. It was literally created under Nazi Germany, and literally used their company to make all kinds of profit. And basically the business giants, none of them were ever being persecuted. Fun fact, the US came close, I'm talking about a like literally literally close to the point of, if this guy did not oppose the rule, did not go along with them, the US will have become a Nazi state, a fascist state. Business elite had all kinds of pull. They brought themselves together. Went to a famous general, U.S. general of that time, General Smedley Butler. He's like the highest, the most decorated general in U.S. history. He's like the top general that the U.S. has ever lived. They went to him and said to him, "I want you to lead our guys, and you have like all the fighters that you need. Storm the White House, and I want you to coup FDR, and install us, and you can install yourself as the leader." He opposed them. He went to FDR, revealed the plot, and basically that went under the rug. So essentially, the point I'm making, the business elite, when they realized World War II came around, when they started to realize what is happening in Germany, they realized that their tactics on how to deal with worker revolt had to change. And they had to basically focus on identity. They decided that we're going to focus on identity politics as a way to divide the nation. If you can separate two groups of people and spit them against each other, then you're going to distract the population from the real issue. And they can literally slowly put policies that will undermine the workers' ability to fight against them. And it slowly introduced the concept of individual responsibility. If you can't succeed, it is your fault. It is you. It is the cause of it. But don't criticize the system. No, you can't do that. You can also do things that supports any socialist movement, because there's a whole McCarthy movement. That because communism is evil, you either have to stand with the US or against us. So you have to literally deny it. But at the same time, you focus on identity politics, saying that, women should be have the ability to go outside their household and be able to work. And the issue how the gore bosses. But don't criticize the system. That is what is a bourgeois. Bourgeois identity politics, bourgeois feminism, bourgeois, like basically the entire Frankfurt School is essentially the result of we want to create identity politics. And we're going to spend a lot of resources into the Frankfurt School, get them spread around, and we're going to pin the conservative with the left wing, and you can only accept in that small little range to be the acceptable debates. Remember, in capitalism, you have to create a small range of debates that is acceptable to discuss. And you can't go outside of it. This is why you hear from leftists like, we don't care about identity politics. What is more important is class analysis, class struggle. And if you can overcome class struggle, then you're going to overcome identity issues. Like, yes, I can agree that there's some. I can agree to that kind of things as well. Because the entire issue of identity politics, it is a way to divide people. And in some ways, I really, really, really hate talking about identity politics. Because as I said, it's just a pure distraction from actual analysis. It's a distraction to actual issues, or systemic issues. It is a way to control the population while letting the big business to do whatever they want without consequences. But of course, as I said, one subject you're not allowed is to talk about socialism, communism. That is literally demonized. It's like if you try to talk about those issues, about the USSR, if you support the USSR in any shape and form, you are evil. You are supporting tyranny. You have to literally crush that movement. It is literally used as a way to force people to say, no, I don't support communism. I don't support it. I am a right winger. I believe in capitalism. Just think what Donald Trump is keep accusing the Democrats during his presidency. The radical leftists, the communists is taking over the Democrat Party, and Joe Biden is a communist who's there to take over the country. The globalists are communist, and the communist is trying to ruin your life. Most people don't even know what is communism. Don't even know what is socialism. They don't even know the difference between social democracy, Marxist-Leninist, and an anarchist. But they're just going to compel all those things as if they're the same thing. And you will literally have to force you to either defend communism, or you have to reject it and say, no, we actually support capitalism, and here's why. And they're also going to put people who are supposed to be radical and they change their mind. And they say, and they're going to elevate those people on top of the food chain as a way to propagandize the population. And again, notice the entire purpose here. Focus that nationalism is not truly over. It's still there. You have to support the United States, its goals, its wishes. And if you don't support the US, you're against us. But at the same time, you can't really criticize the system itself, but you're allowed to discuss identity issues. So in another word, identity politics is a way to control the population. Now let's do the CIA. The CIA has been creating fake stories in the US population since its inception. We have actual ex-CIA agent who has literally said, yeah, my job is literally going to Washington Post, give them the stories that we wanted them to write, and they're going to publish it. And that was in the 70s. And he was talking about how in Cuba, all those atrocities that the Cuban government was doing to women. Oh, that was all of us. That was our work. They didn't do nothing. We just simply created stories, completely fabricated, and we just gave it to the media and passed it on, and the people believed it. Notice again, identity issues. Right now, they have used identity politics in other countries as well to fund radical groups and also identity groups, who literally created the LGBTQ movement and tried to use that as a way to disrupt that country. One of the recent ones, one of the big ones right now that is going through is, I think it's Iran. Yeah, Iran. Okay. The country that get like the Iranian drones, the Iran. I can't actually say the word right now. Anyways, right now, the Western media is trying to do an funding like LGBTQ movement to try to coup the government, to try to create contention, an uprising within a country. That's exactly, and that is one form of their policies. If I boil down to the main policies that a country will do, that they say will do, is they will fund all the opposite group, like in the Yugoslavia, the whole genocide thing. Yeah, the USSR funded both sides of the group to try to create tension in both sides, and even use snipers to kill both sides of people to literally have them fight against each other. That's one thing they would do. They're also going to do, as I said, the identity issue to create a distortion. They're also going to fund radical groups, far right radical groups like the Nazis in Ukraine. They're going to fund Osama bin Laden in the past when he was fighting against a communist. Notice in all of those cases, it's always identity. It is either you are with the West or you are against us. If you're against us, we're going to create tension, identity issues within your country to split it apart. That is bourgeois identity politics. You're not trying to unite the people. You're trying to divide and conquer. And a socialist will say, sure, we might support LGBTQ rights, but we also know that we can't exactly support if it is done to try to divide people. This is bad because we much more important matter of class analysis, class politics, than identity politics, because you have to work together. And that is the entire point of identity politics in a Western world, is to divide and conquer. But as a socialist, The goal is not to divide, but to unify. Have a nice day.